What's good, guys? Welcome back to another reading log. This is the reading log for May. We're a couple days into June now, so I thought it was about time I'd update on what I've been reading, and it's been a productive month. I have a bunch of novels and a bunch of manga on here. Let me get the novels out of the way, and then you guys who don't care about manga can get out of here, and the guys who care about manga gotta sit through this. Actually, let me start off with a light novel. So this is the physical light novel of Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I actually bought and listened to the audiobook to just, see how that turned out, and honestly, it was really great. It was a very short read, like they're like 3 hours, 4 hours if you speed it up like I do with audiobooks. So very good experience, and I can highly recommend it. And I can highly recommend the Rascal Does Not Dream of series as your first forte into light novels. Honestly, it was a great time. If you watched the anime and you really liked the anime, this is the source material, so it's good. Next up, I had Spooks Book 10, or The Last Apprentice Book 10. It was a good volume, volume, book 10. You can really feel that the main story here is coming to a climax, and that changes are going to happen in the next coming books. The book after this one is probably one of my least favorite books in the entire series, because it focuses on a random character that Joseph Delaney pulled out of his ass for no reason, but and except that character is kind of important to the plot in the sequel series, so it's a little bit of a mess. I kind of feel like book 11 is not the strongest in the series, but it's somewhat necessary. I also finished the first trilogy in the Grishaverse, so Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising, and it was a nice breath of fresh air with me having tried out a bunch of different fantasy novels and going back to old ones. So this was a really it wasn't anything spectacular or anything, but the world was interesting, the characters were engaging. There was the middle book had a bit of kind of like the characters didn't feel like themselves, and then in book 3 everything kind of got corrected and came back to what you were wanting it to be. So if you can get through book 2, you'll definitely enjoy the ending of this the story. And I am going to be checking out the 2 duologies that's after. So look out for, here it says the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, and then there's the King of Scars duology. So I'm excited to check those out. I might be checking out the TV show when I've finished reading Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have picked them up. You'll be seeing those in a upcoming book haul / manga haul. I'm not sure if I'm going to separate them or do one big video, because I got a lot of manga and I got a lot of novels. I went all out this past month. Next up, I read another book of Kenneth B. Andersen's Great Devil War series, which is a Danish young fantasy with like satanic themes. In this one we are more about how death works in this world, and it's called The Die of Death. So it's about the main character helping Death find his lost die, and this die is how Death determines how long humans are gonna live. It's a decent middle book. It's not spectacular. The first one was way better, but it's a good book. Then I'm kind of looking forward to moving on to book 3 eventually, but that's going to take a little while before I get there, because I started and finished the Shamer's Signet. This was again a middle book, not the best. It kind of expanded the world. It introduced some great characters. And it also introduced a new point of view of the main character's brother, which is something that's going to be used going forward in the series. I also started the 3rd book, which I haven't gotten very far in. I've been kind of jumping between a lot of books right now. I'm going through The Serpent's Gifts, which is the third book in the Shamer Chronicles. I have the third book of the Great Devil War going on. I'm almost done with Between Two Fires by Buhlman, which I've been really enjoying, and then I'm also wanting to continue listening to the Rascal audiobooks. Bunch of stuff going on, and I also just started picking up and listening to the Ranger's Apprentice books. So you'll be seeing these on these reading logs more often now going forward. And then last but not least, we have Gideon the Ninth. I absolutely loathe this book for the first like 60%, but then you hit that just above the halfway point and the story kind of gets interesting, and then you get towards the end and it just goes full on anime battle, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm guessing it was done on purpose, that you're left in the dark with no information, just like the characters in the book. So you're kind of just left wondering, why are we here? Why are we doing what we're doing? Which I guess is to great effect, because I really enjoyed the ending, and I'm actually going to be reading the second book and not dropping this series, because I heard some interesting things about book 2, so what can I say? I am a sucker for a good plot twist. Now for the manga. There's a bunch. And manhwa. So I actually read a bunch of manhwa now that I'm looking at. First one up here is The Boxer, Volume 2. I really enjoyed this. It was great. What can I say? I mean, it's great, action, fun. The art is okay. It's full color, but it's not super spectacular or anything. But, you know, it has its charms, and these volumes are very nice. They're kind of expensive, but that's just all manhwa is apparently standard price, $20. Next up is PTSD Radio 2. The art is fantastic and creepy, and horror manga just doesn't do it for me. Like, it's not scary at all, so I'm just reading it for the art. That's also why you'll never see me buy any Junjito. If I'm gonna be gifted some, I'll keep it in the collection, but I would never go out and spend money on it. Next up, we have one of the Solo Leveling clones. This is Tomb Raider King. This is basically if you had the Solo Leveling main character, but he's an absolute dickhead. That's what this is. So if you enjoy Solo Leveling and you enjoy like a cocky, annoying main character, then check out Tomb Raider King. It's more power fantasy, just with a different flavor, you know? I mean, the guy even looks like the guy from Solo Leveling. Next up, Die Dark Volume 5. This actually had a bunch more story, which I've been missing in this series. And you know, the art is fantastic and the volume is pristine, and this is really, really nice. And it's scratching that itch that I bet Dorohedoro would also scratch. I just do not have the mental capacity to sit down and commit to that right now. I'm still struggling with Hunter x Hunter, which I haven't read a single volume of this month. But I'm going to be continuing that very soon, when I catch up a little bit on this TBR shelf, which is so, like, soul draining, but I'm going to get on it. I have a bunch of manga by my bed right now that's from there, which I'm starting to read, and a bunch of this was on there. So, we're working on it. Next up, Go Go Loser Ranger. I'm slowly warming up to this series. It's okay. It's a nice little action shonen with some like mystery. It's not the best, but it's also like a completely different shift from the mangaka's all the other work, Quintessential Quintet. But so sometimes you just gotta stick with what you know, what you know to do well. But yeah, I commend them for trying something new and somewhat succeeding so far. I am not completely won over, but I'm slowly warming up to it. I skimmed through Bofuri Volume 5. This is material I've already consumed, so just kind of skimmed through it. It's called The Main Story Beats, and looking forward to when we get to stuff that I haven't actually seen. I might be picking up the light novels maybe on my Kindle. Speaking of Kindle, I also read the first Reincarnated as a Slime light novel. Great little book for the Kindle, honestly. I sped through that over a couple days and it was enjoyable, and I'm going to be continuing that. I'm actually about 25% through with book 2. I'm really excited to see stuff that I haven't seen in anime as well. I'm not going to be picking up the manga, I'm not that interested. But the light novel is enjoyable, and I might be picking this up too, just because light novels, you go through them real quick and they're like not super heavy on the brain when you're just, you know, on vacation, which is what I'm going to be bringing my Kindle to Italy and so on. Just so I don't have to log around too many books. I'm still going to be bringing a couple physical books, but it is what it is. Oh, I need to hurry up because it's hot in here. I turned off the fan for this and put on a hat because my hair is... I'm in dire need of a haircut. So next up, 5 volumes of ShangriLa Frontier. I was not supposed to pick this manga up. I told myself this looks stupid. And gotta say, I'm a sucker for those like power fantasy gaming VR MMO things like Bofuri, like SAO, like ShangriLa Frontier. This was really enjoyable, and actually really this was one of the things that really got me through the month in terms of reading, because I really enjoyed it and it really surprised me. So I'm gonna continue picking this up. And I'm actually really looking forward to volume 6. Next up we have Solo Leveling. What can I say? It's the SAO of manga. Next up we have the biggest debate series of the longest time I can remember. Viz pushed this so hard when volume 1 came out, and it is shit. Not worth the shelf space or money. Speaking of not worth shelf space, Hellbound Volume 2. This is a 2-volume manhwa put out by Dark Horse. Apparently it has a Netflix series. It's not good. It had potential, but it's just too short. This is the most meh 5 out of 10 thing I've read in a while. It's like, art is bad, the characters are annoying as hell. It's Awaken Volume 1. I'm gonna be picking them. I'm stupid, so I'm picking up the sequel volumes, but this one is not super great from what I can tell from this first volume. It's still, you know, it has potential. It's not bad per se, but it's just very mid. Next up, a book that really confused me. Is Daemons of the Shadow Realm. It's Arakawa's latest work, and I enjoyed it, but the first like third of this book is like all over the place. I got like, it was a complete roller coaster. You'll have to read this for yourself to understand what I mean by saying that it's a roller coaster, but let's just say that the cover is very misleading, and there's a bunch of twists in here and a lot of mystery. Art is beautiful as always. Arakawa is a fantastic artist, but yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm not sure how often this will release, considering it's a Square Enix, so we'll probably have to wait half a year for a volume, and then it'll probably get delayed to like 2025. Maybe we'll have a new like Great Jahi will not be defeated situation on our hands here. Next up, this is the weakest of the Solo Leveling clones. This is The World After the Fall Volume 2. It's okay. It's just Solo Leveling, but in a different world, basically. If you like Solo Leveling, you'll like this. Here we have some peak fiction. Welcome to Demon School Rubicon. I skimmed through this because I'd already read it online. But I'm really glad this is getting a physical release. Not super thrilled about it being the vertical trim format, but it is what it is. I cannot complain. I'm getting one of my most hyped series in print, so I'll take what I get, and this is definitely worth picking up. And I really enjoyed this first volume. It's very It has some action elements and it has humor, but it also has very endearing characters and it's like super lighthearted. So if you're in the mood for something that's like actiony, has like good vibes, but it's also, you know, like wholesome, check this out. I recommend it. Do I need to say more? No. Elusive Samurai volumes 5 and 6. This is like a solid 5.5, 6. I'm enjoying it when I sit down to read it, but I'm not actively seeking it out. So it is what it is. I'm gonna continue picking this up just because I really like the mangaka, and the story is okay. It's just not super catching or anything, but you know, it could be worse. And last but not least, Orion's volume 14. This is an in-between arc volume. Not a lot happened, not a lot going on. It was a lot of world building and stuff like that, but you know, you need to have that sometimes to set up a new arc, and we're going into an arc that could be very interesting. Anyways guys, that was everything. Bunch of manga, bunch of books, and a couple light novels. Hopefully June will be as productive. Can't promise anything, you know, stuff is ramping up at work, I'm going on summer vacation soon, so stuff might slow down a bit, but you all know how it is. We'll always be reading books, we'll always be buying books, just consuming stories, and I'll be putting it on here for you guys to see. Hope you guys enjoyed and stick around for the upcoming May haul. I might delay it a bit because I have a bunch of books here, but I'm missing some from a series to have the entire thing because I treated myself to a series. So, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you can, then you got a little spoiler on what's gonna show up in that haul video. Anyways guys, see you guys in the next video.